Okay, this session is now recorded from, we're at the Oakville Milton Real Estate Board, and it's just a 1 week prior to Realtor Quest getting started, which is Canada's largest real estate show for realtors. And in fact, it's one of the second largest real estate shows in the whole world, Realtor Quest. May 30th and 31st, it's at the Toronto Congress Center, and we're recommending that every single broker attend it. You do not have to be the member of the Toronto Real Estate Board to attend it. If you are, it's free for you. If you're not a member of the Toronto Real Estate Board, it's $25 per day to attend. I would get your running shoes. I would have a good smoothie in the morning, get lots of energy, bring a shopping bag. It's almost like being at Costco on a busy Saturday. It is really busy there. Thousands of people are there. And nowhere can you see so many products and services in one day as you can at Toronto Realtor Quest. ICIWorld, we have a booth there. In fact, this year we have 2 booths there. And make sure you come by and say hello to us at the booth. What you're seeing on the screen is an app. And on the app, and what I'm going to do is I might even try to log in. I think I'm just going to leave it like that and let you know that this particular app is absolutely free for you to have on your phone. It is access to 30,000 contacts to do business for both residential and commercial. And the listings are 75% exclusive on the commercial side and about 50% exclusive on the residential side. And if anybody has trouble loading or searching that, when you first get it, it's a little tricky the very first time you get it. But within a week, you'll be able to zero in on things very quickly. And if you want a cottage in Muskoka, you can just search the word cottage. If you want waterfront, there's keywords for waterfront. There's keywords for power of sales, assignments, all kinds of things. And you can do that from the app, and you can study that on your own time. And the same thing for commercial. The apps are also available. Now, you're going to see, it's not on here right now, but I'm going to have everyone pull out what they call the orientation file. There's an orientation file that was handed out to you. If you can pull out this orientation file, everyone should have a copy. If not, Cindy's at the back and she'll give you a package. There's a package for everyone of about 8 sheets of paper plus an orientation. And there's also copies of some of the brochures. On the front of this orientation file, you can scribble notes. Any place on the front. It's kind of like a lot of white space in here that you can scribble things. And one of the first things you should mark down is NREILS.com. For some reason, I don't have it here. NREILS.com stands for National Real Estate Information Listing Service. In fact, it's on your business card. It should be on your business card here on this card that was handed out, the one with the red top. In fact, you know something? Yes? There's 2 of us here that don't have that sheet. The orientation file is missing. I've got a couple extra ones here. Hang on. Here's 2 orientation files if you want. Okay. You can just write right on the front and write down NREILS.com. And we're going to cover that in a moment. Okay, let's move on. Anyone that has any issues or problems with anything, you can call us or make an appointment. And I'm going to cover that, how you go about doing that right now. I'll do it right after I introduce exactly what it is and who we are. Right now on the internet, there's over 7 billion phones on the internet, but 3.7 billion people are using the internet regularly now. And 60% of them are using these mobile devices. People are using their mobile devices 7 times more than a regular computer. And ICIWorld.mobi is one of our mobile sites, but the other mobile site is NREILS. We're introducing it at the Toronto Real Estate Board on May 30th, but I'm giving you a heads up. You can start going to it right now, NREILS.com. And we've been going since 1994, and we are a society of real estate brokers and salespeople who are networking exclusive real estate, advertising listings on mobile devices and computers, and reaching people locally and in 138 countries. And it's a matter of seconds. When you advertise a listing on the service, it is instantly on the internet worldwide. Instantly on the internet worldwide. Instantly. It's incredible when you think about it. The normal to join the service is $40 per month. It's free for you to use the app. There's no charge until such time as you wish to advertise on here yourself. And then it's $40 per month, no contract, $319 per year. However, we do have a special, and you'll see it 25% off. It's right on your cards too, I think at the back. It is on the back there. You would actually go to the website and click on corporate in order to get there. It provides for unlimited advertising and networking, haves and wants. And it's not just listings that you have on a real estate board. If I was to ask anyone in this room, do you have any more than 5 listings on MLS right now? Does anybody have 5 or more listings right now? 4, 3, 2, 1, and the other ones are 0. So, pardon me for saying this, but do you feel like you're almost out of business if you don't have any listings? Agree or disagree? Okay, agree. We're going to show you how you can have information on the internet working for you, 15 pieces of information working on the internet that you presently don't have. We're going to be teaching you how to work exclusive information. The beauty of MLS, which is the backbone of our service. I've been a broker, I've served on MLS committees. It's the backbone of our business. But if you have one listing on the internet, on MLS, somebody can see it, they can give you a call, you can go show it, and you can make $15,000. Once that's sold, and you have nothing, what's next? You can be working with buyers, that's one thing. But I'm talking about actual listings. What we're suggesting is not only can you do this with MLS, but you can now do it with information, where you can have information on the internet, and if anybody in the world sees it, you can talk to them about it without the address, and you're going to understand why I'll tell you about without the address in a moment. People can call you, you're going to put an agreement in place first before you show that property, but it can trigger leads for you just like an MLS listing can trigger leads. So get excited, people. This is new for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know it. Commercial, is there anyone in here that does strictly commercial? Strictly. Anyone? How many people in here would like to do some commercial? Okay, now we're getting hands going up. And so we're going to be showing you how to do that. In commercial real estate, we've been doing it for even before the internet, all of this kind of stuff. I'm not going to bore you with the testimonials, other than there's 50 pages of testimonials online. I've got literally this sheet of paper right here is 50 pages of testimonials. But I would like everybody to pull up their phones right now. Just pull up their phones, open up the app, and if you open up the app, click on the word more down at the bottom. The word more. And part way down, you're going to see testimonials. If you've got the mobile app, you go down just a little bit, look for the word testimonials. And when you click on testimonials, what you should have come up are these pictures of people that have been doing deals. Let's see if you can find them. All these people, 50 pages of testimonials of people, salespeople and brokers just like yourself, doing deals that were not on the Toronto Real Estate Board. You get the app going? You go to the App Store or the Play Store and search for ICIWorld. How many people found it? Can you show me the phone? You got all the testimonials? Testimonial. Okay, excellent. All that, isn't this wonderful? We talk about the paperless office. What you're looking through right there is 50 pages of testimonials. You know, that's incredible when you think about it. All of this is sort of stuck in a phone right here, and you're able to read them so nice and easily. Isn't that neat? And you'll see it's amazing, and I'm going to be showing you today how each and every person in this room can be working exclusive information. And the advantage, of course, to the public is you're protecting the public and you're giving the public more choices than they ever had before. It's great. Any questions so far? Okay, let's move on. You're going to be able to search in seconds. In fact, one of our little symbols is a picture of a world on a finger. And what we're doing is we're bringing you the world of real estate information to your fingertips. That's basically what we're doing. If you ever need to call us, there's the number down there. But I'm going to ask you not to call. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a reason. If we had 4 people in the office handling phones all day long, that would add an extra $130,000, $140,000, $150,000 to the budget. Instead, we ask you to do one thing, and I'm going to show you what that is now. We're going to ask you to actually make an appointment. You actually go to the main website. You can even do it on the mobile phone, on the login pages of the mobile phone. You actually go, if you would like assistance, absolutely no obligation. We're a society of real estate brokers and salespeople. You want to call and ask questions, it's okay. You just click on here on one of the websites, ICIWorld.com. You go up to the top, you click on make an appointment. And then you click on 60 minutes. And then you pick a day, maybe next Tuesday. And then you pick a time, 11 o'clock. You click on confirm. You put in your name, your email, and a phone number. It automatically goes onto our calendar. So having 30 people call in at one time, we actually can't give you the service that you deserve. But if you make an appointment, we give you 1 hour of quality one-on-one time. You sit in front of your computer, all the training and everything is done. Go ahead.
You were holding up a form about orientation earlier on.
I gave them all to Cindy. Cindy, did you not get them?
I don't think that same form was in there.
The orientation form.
Can we open up?
It's a couple of pages.
Maybe it's at the bottom of the pile, Cindy? Thank you for stopping me. You didn't find them? Well, here's some more here, if you're short. Thank you for bringing that up.
No problem.
Okay, orientation form. The people at home, there are handouts that are within the GoToMeeting control panel, and you should go to the handouts, and you should see it, and you can print out the orientation file, and you can take messages on or write things down on that orientation file. Okay, let's move on. So that's how that's conducted. And then 10 minutes before your time, and I'm talking general questions for anything. You don't have to be a member even. You can just call up. You click on this webinar workshops here, and our 2 computers will actually be connected, and then that way we can show you and help you keystroke by keystroke at your pace. Some people are fast, some people are slow. There's no right or wrong. We help everyone. And that's how that is sort of handled. Hang on one second. Now, to show you how easy it can actually work, you'll see the instructions right there on the screen. By the way, you should all have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. Does everybody have that? The slideshow. Can somebody give me one copy of the PowerPoint demonstration? The slideshow. And you're going to see that I'm going to just cover this quickly, and then we're going to move right on. I'm going to open up a website and go right to our main website, and I'm going to click on Login. When I click on Login, on the left-hand side are all the choices to log in and to add a have want. After you log in, you click on Add Have Want, and there's the information screen come on the screen. Now, does anybody have, I'm not going to enter it, but give me an example of something that somebody has something for sale right now. Anybody at all? Okay, Sabrina?
I have a house in Mississauga.
Okay, so you're going to say Mississauga. I'm going to say home. And how much is it?
$894.
$894?
Yeah.
Okay. $894.9. Okay. So this is like a classified ad in a newspaper. And you'll notice there's 4 ingredients in the subject line here that we recommend. But when we say location on ICIWorld, we recommend that you never place an address, ever. Now, unless you're doing an open house. We recommend that you trigger a call during the term of the listing first, and then identify the people who are calling. And then if you want to go ahead and reveal the address, go ahead. Does everybody agree with that when you advertise in the paper not to put the address? Everybody agree or disagree? How many agree? How many disagree? Neither. Okay, you like to put the address, Ed? No. Okay. In this case, you've got the location, Mississauga, you got the type of property, and you have a price. What we don't have is the sizzle. Sizzle means what's so good about your particular property for this price over all the other homes for sale in the Greater Toronto Area. Sabrina, what's so good about it?
Great value, large lot.
Great value. Everybody's got great value. So that I'm going to suggest you need something better. Large lot is good. Large lot. What is it? Backing onto a ravine. It's not okay. What else is good about it?
It's a large home. Great layout.
Okay. 4 bedrooms or 3?
4 bedrooms.
4 bedrooms is good.
Double garage.
Oh, a double garage is good. It wasn't that long ago that semis were selling for that.
I know.
So now you get a single family home for that, right? Then you choose Canada, you choose Ontario, Greater Toronto, and you come down here and choose Mississauga. Now, let's say that the owner of that house said, listen, Sabrina, let's say it wasn't listed, but she said, I'd like to sell my house, but not till next month. You could put an ad on here, coming for sale. Coming for sale, Mississauga, large home, approximately $900,000. You could actually put that on. And then when somebody calls you, what's the first thing they're going to ask you? Where is it? What's the address? I'd like to drive by. Do you give them the address? No. Good show. What you can say is that in this particular case, we have to put an agreement in place first. But I should be getting the listing signed in about a month. Once I get the listing signed, I will put your name on a list, and you can be one of the first people that I call to go see it on the first open house that I do. How does that sound? Interesting, eh? That can trigger a lead for you right now without a signed listing. That's the kind of thing that can be done here, and we're going to show you the RICO requirements in a moment. Okay, and then you come down here and you're going to choose residential, and then you just repeat it one more time. It's a home, Mississauga, 894-9. Now what we usually do is come up here, copy all of that, and paste it in the comments down here. Down here, we add links. This is a link to the City of Toronto. We recommend that you put in. We also recommend you put in a link to the City of Mississauga. You would actually remove this link to Toronto, and you would type in Mississauga. Oops. .ca, if that's what it is, and you would change this all about Mississauga and type that in there. If it was Oakville, you would type the Oakville website in, and then you would add the link. If you had the picture on your website and you had the listing on your website, you could go to your website, get the link for that page that has your listing, and you could paste it right in here. That way people, you can say, click here for details and photos and more details. People can click on it, go right to your website. We drive all this traffic that comes here, we drive it to your websites so that they can see the listings and see more information in the areas. You go down to the bottom, and lo and behold, look at this. As of today, I'm announcing here that you really do not have to, anybody see my point? Oh, there it is. You do not have to be restricted to making money with just MLS. Look at all the other choices that you now have to make money with an information service. Know abouts. If a friend of yours says, I'd like to sell my restaurant, but I don't want to give you a listing, but I'll pay you a commission. What are you going to do? You know about it. But at that point, really, when you think about it, you're a secret agent. You're the only one that knows about it. How can you get it out there so the whole world can see it without telling it what restaurant it is? A restaurant owner that wants to sell his restaurant, does he want his information all over the internet that it's for sale? No. Why not? It could be bad for business. Absolutely. So if you could simply say Mississauga restaurant, $350,000 making money, does that give it away? No. Very good. So that's what the essence of today's session is about. Learning how to work exclusive information that can make you thousands of dollars. We now have people on this network that have made over $1 million. All kinds of people between $50,000 and $750,000. And you can do it too. And you just have to read the testimonials. They're salespeople just like yourselves. Now, in this particular case, it happens to be MLS, Sabrina.
Yes.
You could choose that. And the last question on the screen is very special. It says, will you allow your listings to be advertised on other brokers' websites?
Absolutely.
When you advertise it on here and click submit information, it instantly goes on 1,500 other brokers' websites in addition to the 18,000 pages that ICIWorld has on the internet. Instantly. One click. I'm still amazed to this day. I've been a broker. I started in 1974. But in 1992, I decided to start doing this service, and I stopped selling so that I'm non-competing with you and everyone else on the service. I'll sell my own family's property, and I'll help them. That's it. And I've been dedicating myself to helping bring the powers of the internet to the salespeople in the world. It's not just in Ontario, but the whole world. We just got back from Florida. We do seminars there and hope to do seminars, more seminars worldwide as well. When you add the listing, which I'm not going to do, I'm going to click over here where it says Latest World Residential, and I'm going to click on that. And up comes the listings as they're being added, one at a time. This is just the latest listings going on the service by the latest ones first. They're not in any order other than they were put on, in order of last ones coming on. The very top one happens to be one in Oakville, a spectacular condo for $2.425 million. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and there's the information. And it also happens to be MLS as well. Oakville, downtown Marina. Now, I talked with Larry, and we're going to be showing Larry how to put the link into this listing. But he says that he has it on his homepage. So I'm going to see if I can find it quick enough on his homepage, that particular listing. And anybody got an idea how you would search the listing in Oakville from here on his website? Anyone? Would you type in Oakville here, maybe?
Or click on listing.
Hang on one sec. Okay, that seems to be his listing right there. 2.4, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now, Larry said he had a tour here, a virtual tour. I don't know if it's here. Let me see. Let me go back up. I guess you just have to start clicking on the pictures. Next photo. Oh, slideshow. Here we go. Okay. So there's the slideshow. Oh, I see. Whoa, you look at the books, eh? Got to let them move there. Okay, there's a nice rec room. Isn't this beautiful? The way he's got it set up. Now, would it be nice to have this link within the listing? It can be done very easily. And how you do that is you go up here to the top. That happens to be the link for that listing. You see that? You can copy that link. And if we went back to ICIWorld, we could actually put it into this internet links box that's right there. You can actually enter it in there. Okay? Anybody that, if we go too fast, it's okay because we have assistance step by step. And once you learn about it, linking is one of the most powerful features of the internet. Okay, let's move on. We suggest you maintain a minimum of 15 haves or wants on the internet working, not just on our service, but you can put this on other services too when you learn how to work exclusive information. You should modify your listings every 30 to 60 days and never let your listings go longer than 90 days old. And the reason for that is that the listings that are on the mobile sites are less than 90 days old. If your listings are over 90 days old, they are not getting the exposure worldwide from people in 138 countries. Okay. And we also suggest that you measure your results every 90 days. If you're not doing a deal every 90 days or triggering leads every 90 days, you should let us know. That's how you measure your results.
So you saying that within 90 days, you
Yes.
cancel the listing and relist it up there? Or take it off? Or?
No, all we're saying is if you're not generating leads every 90 days through this kind of a service, when there's 3.7 billion people on the internet and 50,000 people a month, there's just so much activity out here that maybe you're not doing something right. Maybe you don't have 15 opportunities on here, and that's because maybe you don't know how to work exclusive information in a competent fashion compliant with RICO, which we're going to teach today. Maybe it's because you don't have the widgets on your own website. We have a way of taking all the listings here, and you can have them on your website. You can actually have this service on your website. And I'm going to show you in a moment how people can go to your website, see that Oakville listing, that $2 million one, in a special way that people cannot click on it. Why? Does anybody know? You want them to call you. If they could click on it, they would get the other broker. Would you like to have several thousand listings on your website in a way that the public has to call you? Would you like that? How many people would like that? Okay, we're going to be showing you how you can get that. And one of the first things we do, we actually just email you the instructions. You send your instructions to your website designer, and they install it. But you should have a follow-up. We're like a doctor of the internet. You have an operation, you should have a follow-up appointment. We want to make sure those widgets are, we call them ICIWorld widgets. And as a matter of fact, they're right here. Was this not able to stand up right, Sabrina? No. Okay. These are the widgets. I'm going to move this over here. How about right there? Is that okay? Sabrina, help. What happened here?
I don't know. This one wants to move forward, and that one.
That one's forward. Okay, I'm going to let you fix that if you don't mind. Here, I'll just lean it up there. I'll just lean it up there. Okay. So those widgets can trigger leads, and even if you're part-time or retired, my question to you would be, would you mind doing the odd 5-minute referral that makes you $3,000 to $10,000? Can you do this if you were retired? Okay. Could you do it if you were part-time? It's only a 5-minute referral. Now the only reason why, can we not fix that sign and bring it up, Sabrina?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were just leaving it.
Yeah, no, I'd like to bring it up. If you don't mind.
Hold it?
Not holding it. It should be able to be fixed. If you have the listings on your website, you have a chance to trigger the leads. If you don't have them on your website, you have no chance to trigger the leads, and we're going to be showing you examples here in a moment. Now, if you want further training and support, you can go to our ICIWorld YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel, if I was to click on it, I'm going to click on it right now, brings up these videos that are on YouTube. And if I was to click on maybe one of these here, you'll see that you can actually listen to some of these things on your own time. Okay? There's other seminars, presentations that we're doing that are all placed on the internet on our ICIWorld YouTube channel. You need a hand too? Okay, hang on one second. Here's an example, by the way, of a Century 21 broker. Right there. You can see his page there, a regular Century 21 website. Okay, and he happens to have a button over here, which I'm going to click on, which brings up the same little widget that you searched before, the form that you were searching on your phone. Now, if I was to go ahead and search this, I'll be there in a second, Sabrina, to help there.
It's okay.
I'm going to click on Search Database, and you're going to see all these listings come up, and you'll notice that you cannot click on these listings. So who do they have to call? You. They have to call you. Okay. Just drop that down. Hang on a second. Excuse me. Now, there's a reason why I'm setting all this up. Okay, I'll just put that back.
Ah, beautiful. Round of applause.
Okay. Actually, I owe it all to you. Thank you. All right. So you cannot click on that. So if somebody goes down the page and they're searching on your website, and maybe they're interested in, there's somebody who wants to buy a property. Here's a good example. Coming soon, a Cape Cod home in Oakville for under $1 million. Isn't that neat? You've never really seen this done before, have you? Has anybody ever seen this done before?
No.
Oh, really? So you can end up getting a call if that's your listing, even if it's not your listing, and this is on your website, somebody can call you. And then you can service them, and I'll show you how that's being done as well.
What's your typical demographic?
Demographics, oh boy, that's a loaded question. Who asked that question? Demographics in terms of?
So this is
The
all
readers, you
on your
mean?
website. This is all on ICIWorld.
No. I'm suggesting this was a Century 21 broker's salesperson's website. This could be your website. I'm using an example of a website of a salesperson. Let me go back and show you. Let's click on the back button here. And actually, let me close that. This is a gentleman's page. His name is Kumar Chowdhury. Okay? And he has a button here that says click here to view real estate listings worldwide. And when people click on it, they have a choice to search. And they can choose any area of the world. I just came back from Florida trying to get Florida brokers to put the listings on here so that when somebody in Canada searches a Canadian broker's website, they could search the USA, they could search Southeast, and they could search Florida. I'm going to just change that to, I'm going to explain that any age in a moment, but I'm going to search the listings. Would you like to have Florida broker listings on your website that people could search? How many people would like that? So somebody calls you on one of these listings. Pretend this is on your website, right? Do you understand? Okay. And then so somebody calls you on one of these properties in Florida for maybe 800,000 or 300,000 or something, and they're going to say, I'm on your website. I'm interested in message number such and such in Florida. Can you help me? And what are you going to say? Of course. I certainly can help you. I will have someone call you back. And then you're going to get a hold of the broker that's got that listing in Florida and say, I have a lead for you. Is a 25% referral commission okay with you? That's it. I can't hear you.
So you have to have an agreement that
all these listings have already been agreed to have them here on your website. When a broker puts in a listing, it took us 3 years. That's a great question. It took us 3 years to get the agreements for all these listings before we could do this. 3 years.
Percentage-wise, we're using Florida for example. Percentage-wise, how many of Florida's listings are doing this?
Because I don't understand the question specifically, I don't have demographics or I never did studies on all that stuff. I just know one thing. If you're a Canadian broker and you got some Florida listings on your website, you got a chance of triggering a lead to do a referral. And then our challenge and our job is to get all of you to get more salespeople on the service using the service. We're a society of real estate brokers and salespeople.
So for Ontario, for example.
Yes?
There's several MLS systems.
But we're not an MLS system.
So you're getting your information
from the brokers.
From each individual broker.
That's correct. Yes.
How many brokers would you say you have?
Oh, we have several hundred members right now. Several hundred real estate broker members that are doing this right now. And they have been doing it actually for 15 years, 20 years.
So I was actually with ICI, paid the membership a long time ago.
Okay.
The information was not given to me at the time. There was not enough, and I wasn't a commercial agent, so there was not enough information that was useful to me today.
Right.
I'm trying to understand where is ICI right now in relation to the business that would help me. So specifically, great. Florida would be wonderful, but it would be more wonderful if I had all the Ontario listings from the west end of Ontario to the Quebec border. So
Right.
if I had Barrie, if I had.
Well, you've got MLS on your site, right? You've got
Yes,
MLS
we
on your
don't-
site.
Yes, but we don't have a unified way of getting all these.
Yeah, we're not going to be unified with MLS. We're actually, we could have tried to design an MLS service, but we didn't. We wanted to fill the gap in the marketplace because I would be at the Toronto Real Estate Board and we would have a meeting just like this with 50 brokers in a room. And I would say, do you have any buyers looking for anything? Now, who's got a buyer looking for something? Okay, give me an example of one buyer.
Looking for a townhouse.
Looking for a townhouse where?
Anywhere in Halton region,
Halton region, price range?
up to 600.
Up to $600,000 wanted in Halton. Is that listed any place that want? No. That's what I wanted to pull out of the marketplace. I wanted to get the wants that are not on the Toronto Real Estate Board. I wanted to get the exclusive information that's not on there. You can always go to the MLS and get all that stuff that you're talking about. This is something different. But because he's also a real estate salesperson, when he gets a listing, he can advertise it too. So you can advertise your want, and an owner of a property can call him and say, you know, I was thinking of selling my place. Can you come over and give me an idea of the price of my property? You have a chance to do that if you get that information out into the marketplace on the internet where all the people are.
Does the general public have access to this database?
Big time, big time. 50,000 people a month.
And where do they go to access this information?
They go.
ICIWorld.com?
The simplest question, the shortest question I get is that, and it's actually a day-long answer. Okay? It's called How to Promote Your Website. And there's 1,000 places where people can see this information. We measure it with IP addresses. There's about 40,000 IP addresses that are visiting the ICIWorld.com website on its basis. We went from 0 to 7,000 people on these mobile phones 2 years ago. Last year, it's up to 15,000 using these things. We have 20,000 emails that are delivering emails daily to the industry right now. We have an email addresses of over 30,000 that we send to monthly. And we have new websites that are being built all the time with ICIWorld powering them. And we build them for specific companies as well. There's 1,500 other brokers who are getting traffic to their website to all of these listings that are on ICIWorld on their website. We never had that 3 and 4 years ago. We never had that kind of traffic then. So we have some basic things that people should do if you ever join the service. And anybody that hasn't made any money, I'm going to point out during this session right now why some people have made money and why others haven't made money. One thing is they didn't have 15 opportunities working. They didn't learn how to work exclusive information. They didn't have these widgets working on their website. And then if they did have the widgets working on the website, they didn't promote their website. If you don't get traffic to your website, nobody's going to see these things. Agree or disagree? It's common sense, right? Now, most brokers haven't really promoted their website. So every single day at 8 o'clock at night, we have a special session for you running on the internet right tonight at 8 o'clock. Any ideas what it's called?
Promoting your website.
Promoting your website. Every single day. It's one of the most important things that you should be spending on. Designing a website, I don't care how pretty your website is. It's the traffic to the listings. From a broker's point of view, it's the listings that trigger the leads. Do you agree or disagree? If you've got listings on your website, you have a chance to trigger leads. And that's what I'm showing you here. So anyone who has not made any money, maybe never had the widgets working on their website. It's kind of like if you have a car with a flat tire, you don't abandon the car, you get the tire fixed. So we like the opportunity to each and every one of you. If you're not generating leads every 90 days, and if you're not making money, either making money or triggering leads every 90 days, you give us a call, let us look over your membership. And 99% of the time we're able to fix that right away. And that's because there's so many people on the internet. Let's move on. Okay, so that's one website there. Let's go to another one. See if I can find one. Here's another website, Ascom Commercial Real Estate. She's got a button over here that's called Ontario. And when you click on it, you'll see the listings coming up. And if somebody's interested in an apartment building, now, let's say you're a residential salesperson. Is it possible somebody could be looking for a little apartment building for $1 million? Is that possible back there? Right? If somebody goes to your website, would you like to be able to have them see over 200 apartment buildings on your website? Would you like that? That's a chance to trigger a lead. If you don't have it, you have zero chance. Agree or disagree? You know. Now, here's the beauty of it. When you have these on your website, somebody's going to try to click on that and they can't do it. They're going to give you a call and say, I'm interested in message 353094 for $2 million. Can you help me? And you're going to say, yes, I can help you. I will have someone call you back. And then you get a hold of the other broker and say, I have a lead for you. Is a 25% referral fee okay with you? You get out your referral forms. You can use the Ontario Real Estate Association forms.
So this site, area, after from this is constantly changing every day.
Every second it's changing, all day long. There's new listings coming in every day. Yes.
Well, I think that the reason I think that's more important than what's there is that it's fresh.
Yes.
Rather than, you can only go to my website once and then it ain't gonna change every day.
You bring up a good point.
It's boring after tomorrow.
You bring up a good point. One of the things that you should be doing when you promote your website is to let people know that you've got 50 to 100 new listings coming in every single day.
Yeah.
And that will bring them back to your website to check for new listings. But we've got something else even better for your customers, and I'm going to cover that in a moment. Part of promoting your website is to have a mobile website. In other words, let's say that you have a mobile website. And let me see if I can just bring one up here. Okay. Here's a sample of a mobile website. We make these for $16. $16.50. Okay. But you all have mobile websites, and if you do not, you should have. Do you all agree or disagree? If you agree, you should try to get your mobile website onto the phones of all your customers. Everybody that you know, your friends, your acquaintances, your relatives. Everybody that you know, get your mobile website onto the phones of all your customers. That way, when your customer is thinking of buying something, they can click on that little hamburger bun up there, and then if they want residential or commercial or whatever it is that they want, residential, they can click on it. And it just so happens that ICIWorld is here as well, and people can click on Oakville, and I'm going to click on Oakville right now. Or is it right there? And up comes the listing in Oakville on your website. And here there's 44 of them that are coming up all sorted by price. People can't click on them. Who do they have to call? You? Give me a high five. Who do they have to call? High five. Isn't that wonderful? This is wonderful. This is fantastic. We should be jumping up and down like you know hit your head on the ceiling. You know, this is exciting to have. Now you're going to have listings on your website that trigger the leads. That's part of promoting your website. Let's move on. Good questions, people. Good questions. There's some of the other ways that you can, other things that we do to kind of help. Okay, let's move on. We've talked about 3.7 billion people on the internet coming in from 138 countries, and the membership is open for licensed real estate brokers and salespeople. Now, something a little different, and because I took up so much time explaining some of these other things, we don't have enough time to go through all the apps that I like to go through sometimes. But Evernote is a fantastic program used by used by millions and millions of people on the internet called Evernote. For instance, I have like daily to-do lists. Everything that I can't remember, I put it in Evernote. Everything. Because I have a habit of forgetting things real easy. Or you get a great idea at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you wake up in the morning and say, what the heck was that idea? write them all down in Evernote. Get it tracking. And if you have that one program on there, it's great for planning. It's great for just putting everything that you want to. You can send a newspaper article to there and read it later. You can send photos to it. Evernote is one of the most used programs on the internet used on a mobile phone. KeyPass Info, I have about 180 passwords for various things. They're all in one program. I pull it up, click a button, and it enters the password for me. I'm sure some of you already have. As long as you've got something to keep track of your passwords, that's important. Workspace Macro Pro, if you do a lot of keystrokes, let's say you go, how many people here go to Kijiji to dig up business? Anybody? Okay, Kijiji's good. You've got the owner's name and his phone number. You got all the details of the property. I'm going to show you how you can make a lot of money with Kijiji today. Okay, you can ask them 3 special questions, and that's one of the highlights of today's program. What are these 3 special questions? And when they come up, you can get your cameras, you can come up here and you can take a picture of these 3 special questions. They can help you get that information from those people. Any for sale by owners you can do this with. They could be in the Toronto Star, driving by, a sign on the property. And if you have regular keystrokes that you do, Workspace Macro Pro puts it in a way that you can go one click, and it puts in a whole paragraph for you if you want to. We already know about Magic Jack and Skype. WhatsApp, how many people here use WhatsApp? Okay, almost everybody. It's a great program. If you're not using it, you should and consider it. It's instant communication no matter where you are in the world. My wife's in Portugal. I can just click a couple things and say hi and hello, just like she was here. Searchinman.com, that's a great real estate website for North America and the world of brokers. All kinds of wonderful stories from brokers like yourself, the trials, the tribulations, the successes. All of that is talked about with Inman. Finding your iPhone, you should practice someday trying to find your iPhone. It's one thing to have it on your phone, but it's another thing to try to find it. Okay, and it happened to me once. I actually dropped it, and I didn't know where it was. It turned out it was in the same building I was in. I went down to the superintendent. She says, "Are you looking for something?" She knew right away because she had it. I had dropped it in the driveway, and somebody found it. Speedtest.net, that's a way to test your connection to the internet. If you've got anything less than 5 megabytes upload speed and 0.8 megabytes upload speed and 5 megabytes down, that's very slow, but that's the minimum. Everybody should have 10 and 40, at least 40 megabytes download and at least 10 megabytes upload. A lot of people have more than that. But if you're laboring and waiting for things to come up on a computer, time is money. You should get it improved. You call up your internet service provider and say, listen, I'm not happy with the speeds here. Can you do anything? And you know something, 9 chances out of 10, they'll do something to speed it up. They leave everybody slow in the beginning until somebody complains, and then they speed it up for you. So let them know. And then for $5 or $10 a month more, you can really upgrade it and get a lot faster speed. Snipping tools to snap a shot of anything that's on your screen. Those are just some other good things that you can be doing. The realtor.ca, or the website that you can have on your phone. You know, right now, does everyone use that on their phone when they're driving around in a car to identify the price of a property? Anybody not using it? Realtor.ca, a program right there. So I can tell you all the homes right around here, even though I'm not from here. I can be talking about all the homes in the area with Realtor.ca. You should have it on your phone because really what we're offering is service. You know, we're really selling service. And if you showing a home, then their budget is $400,000 to $500,000, and then they say, oh, how much is that home across the street? That's going to be in their mind, and that's going to take them away from what they're focusing on with you. So you bring up the app, and you say, oh, that one there is $700,000, and immediately that removes that home from their thoughts, and they can continue with you. So you're answering questions for them, bing, 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 fast, by having that on your phone. Social media, you should have all of the social media, and that's part of promoting your website. A lot of family members do not know how well connected each of you are. They know you're in real estate, but they always wonder if you're the best real estate person around. Now you're going to be able to show them how well connected you are when they visit your website and see all the listings you have, MLS, residential, commercial, exclusive, residential, commercial, power of sales. All of those things are supplied. Some of the commercial apps there, I'm not going to go into that because we don't have any commercial people per se in the room. However, I am going to recommend one course for everyone in the room to take, and that course is called CI 101. If you want, you can mark that down right on the front page of your orientation, just CI 101. And that's how I sort of got started in commercial real estate over 20 years ago. And after going through all the courses, I came out and I managed to sell $1 million building, and that was like 30 years ago, and that was pretty darn good at that time. Made the first $25,000 commission, and it was from CI 101, from that course. So what that course does, it will help you paint a picture. If you were to sell a home now, roughly how many years would it be before those people want to sell and buy again? Roughly.
4 years.
4 or 5 years, something like that. What if you could have somebody that's buying 2 properties a year for the next 5 years, a total of 10 properties, 1 buyer doing that? Would that be really kind of good? That's what you can cultivate with an investor. How can you add value to that relationship with the investor? Well, if you can help them analyze the before tax and after tax implication of investing in any income producing real estate. It could be a duplex, a triplex. It could be a 10-unit apartment building, a $50 million building. It doesn't matter. The CI 101 course is the course I'm recommending for everyone in this room to take someday, if you can do it. It will take the mystery out of commercial real estate. It will show you how to paint a picture. How many times have you shown a property and they see the property to people, and then after they see the property, they say, I want to think about it? How many people had somebody say that?
No, we don't do that.
What happens is they go away, and usually they don't come back. But if you can have a picture painted on how that property makes them money, where the money goes in, what happens during the term of the hold, when they sell it, and you can have scenarios. You can say if it goes really good and the rents go up and the interest rate stays the way that it is, this is how much you would make. If the interest rates go up, this is how much you would not make, but at least you won't lose the property. If the interest rates come down, this is how much you would make. It would really be even better. So if you can paint those kinds of pictures for people to give them a sense of security that they won't lose their property, but they have a chance of making a lot of money, next thing you know, they can go talk to their accountant. And all they can do is they can argue with the figures that you put on paper. Now, if they disagree with your figure, you could change it. They say, oh, I think the hydro's going to go up more. Somebody else is getting into power. So you change it on your form and then rework the figures and say maybe instead of offering $970,000, we're only going to offer $920,000. So you're in control of the situation when you have that CI 101 course behind your back. And every one of you can do it. We've got Judy Casimir. She sold on her service a $75 million office building, and she's a sales lady just like yourself. She had a little commercial store for sale. And she had a buyer call her from out west. And he said, well, that's a little too small for me. I'm really looking, to tell you the truth, from $20 to $100 million. She qualified him over a period of time. She ended up selling him a $75 million office building in Toronto. And how she sold it, she placed a warrant, just like you're going to place a warrant. Somebody called her. It was a mortgage broker that called her. Said he was working with the owner of an office building. And the first thing he said to her, do you really have a buyer? Because on the internet, you really don't believe anything that people are saying at first, right? You got to check it out. And sure enough, she was. And she ended up selling 8 months later. In her case, she made $200,000 selling it because one building was kicked out and it turned out to be $54,000. She's also an area instructor too, by the way, for the commercial course. So the CI 101 is the course we're recommending there. In fact, there she is right there. Those are some of the people who have kindly consented to help us do these kinds of seminars for real estate brokers and salespeople. There's my information if you're wondering who I am. And the reason I do that is because where are we coming from? What I've been doing the last 20 years, it's almost as if each and every one of you said, Gary, you're a broker. go back in time and study the internet for the last 20 years and come to us here today and bring us the money-making things that are making a lot of people a lot of money. Well, we don't have to show you that it's done because there it is there. There's testimonials of literally hundreds of brokers that are making money using the service. We've also got a lot of brokers that haven't made money using the service. And now in today's session, I'm going to point out some of the reasons why some have and some haven't. And that's how we learn. That's how we learn. This is a workshop for brokers, no one else. And so I have my CCIM designation. I'm a CCIM as well, Certified Commercial Investment Member. We'd like to invite you out to the meetings. They're at the Toronto Real Estate Board on a regular basis. And every one of you could take advantage of that and come out and see what's going on. The CIPS, I just got that about 2 months ago. I'm really proud of that one. I'm excited about CIPS. Stands for Certified International Property Specialist. It's a great bunch of people worldwide, about 3,500 people worldwide that are dealing in international properties. And you learn the cultures over a 5-day period, if you want to take them 5 days in a row, from Asia and Europe and just literally all around the world, a lot of the different cultures, people, and how people are doing business in other countries. I found it really very, very interesting. The Facebook and the LinkedIn, those are important to help you promote your website as well as networking. And let's move on. Where did I put the, there she is there. Okay, let's go. The real estate, why are we taking our time out here today when everybody's busy and got other things to do? Well, one of the highest returns of any industry on the internet today, it is for real estate. Because one lead can make you $50,000, $20,000. It can make you a lot of money. ICIWorld itself has over $43 billion worth of real estate opportunities, and there's over $11 trillion of buyer contacts right now. In fact, when you go on a listing presentation, you can actually print out a list of buyers and what they're looking for, which shows the people you're dealing with how well connected you are into the buyers in the marketplace. It's, of course, a high return on membership. We just got this new program here on the side. You might have to turn around and look at that one there. This is being introduced at Treb Realtor Quest. We actually have one of these corporate cards now that we're giving to every member. And I've got 500 corporate cards right now to give out to people at Treb Realtor Quest. These are literally hundreds of dollars in discounts for food, entertainment, travel, sports, hotels, cars, rent cars, all kinds of things. And it literally could pay for the cost of membership easy on ICIWorld. So can we really say it's free? No. You have to pay to join ICIWorld, but then you get discounts from the ICIWorld corporate card, and they can more than offset that. So that's something that everyone that joins as of now. And this is brand new. We just got the cards. It's a brand new program for all the society members that anyone that joins gets an ICIWorld corporate card. If you go to Canada's Wonderland, I think it's $80 per person. And if you get 40% off, that's like, if you had 5 people in your party, it's almost $200 savings just going to that one thing. So that's the kind of thing that we're now providing for members on ICIWorld. Let's move on. You can do business all around the world. I won't go into that. Let's just move on. The testimonials, we've already covered that. There's 50 pages of testimonials. You can read them on your own time. I don't want to belabor that and have people after person, testimonials one after another for the next half hour, but I could do that if we wanted to. Let's move on. Here's a key ingredient that's very important. We're going to now start showing you sources of where you can be doing business in the Oakville area. And one of the statistics out there is that of all the for sale by owners on the internet, only about 9% of them actually sold without an agent. Isn't that interesting? So of all the FSBOs that you see out there, really it's one of the salespeople like yourselves that ended up selling the property. So that should give you confidence. There's a way to do it, and we're going to show you today 3 special questions that's going to help you do it. ICIWorld itself has over 30,000 haves and wants. 75% of them are exclusive, not on MLS. We do commercial and residential, properties coming for sale, FSBOs, assignments, and more. There's 2 world databases. One world database is the one that when you go to the main website and you search, and I'm going to go to the new website just for fun. and it's working, so that's good. And I'm going to go to the word search, and I'm going to go right to the database number 2, the FSBO area, and I'm going to search Canada, and I'm going to search Ontario, and I'll search the GTA and for 100 listings and just search. These are the latest listings that are coming in from the public. We allow the public to post information absolutely free on ICIWorld. However, who are the only people that can read the contact information? Members. Good show. Okay. So yes, you can contact these people. We had one broker, he got a buyer out of here looking for a 7-plex. He went to the MLS and found one in High Park and he sold it to him. He got the buyer from here. So it works hand in hand with MLS systems too. Let's move on. Okay, hang on. Hang on, I went back a little bit. Let's catch up where we were. Okay, commercial and residential, both. If you have a residential website and somebody calls you on a commercial listing, you just do a referral. And we tell the same thing to the commercial brokers. If you don't want to sell a $1 or $2 million home in Oakville, do a referral to a broker in Oakville. There it is. There's some of the readership, some of the stats that some people have asked about. 40,000 monthly readership. The public can call you directly on your ads. 20,000 subscribers receive the haves and wants daily by email, and there's about 1,500 brokers now displaying the haves and wants on their website. We have over 18,000 pages on the internet, and there's over 2 million hits a month. Literally tens of thousands accessing the listings. And in terms of advertising and networking, what are we doing to try to help you make money? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of different things. We actually are a salesperson for you. It's almost as if you hired us as a salesperson to work for you individually. And when we put a front page ad on magazines like this, and on the front page here, which we are running consistently every month right now for you, how does that make you money? You wonder, how can this ad right here possibly make you money? Well, if somebody sees that ad and they go to the website and they search and you have a listing there, they call you up. You go show that property and make $15,000, all because we put that there. So we're doing this every month for the brokers in the industry, and it's working great. People are getting leads and doing deals. Let's move on. Realtor Quest. That's one of the largest shows in the world, and our booth is very busy at that show, thanks to real estate people like yourself. And the reason is we make a statement that you could have a $30,000 website, and it's not as powerful as the websites we're supplying from ICIWorld for $16.50. However, it's important for you to know that we support everyone's website. We support them all with the widgets that you can put on your website. But there's no law against you having more than one website. Websites in one respect are like billboards. You can have more than one. If you have one on one busy street, you have another one on another busy street, and they're each generating leads for you, why not? Especially when they're only $16.50, why not? Try it out. The beauty of the websites that we supply as well is they automatically send out listings to your customers. The same as MLS, with one difference. How many people here use the MLS to send out listings to their customers? Okay, very good. These websites will do it automatically where the customer can come to your website and subscribe themselves. This website, however, will also send out the exclusive listings that are not on real estate boards. So that's a major difference too, as well. And that's kind of nice to have. It also has 3 major world networks of listings, not just MLS, 1 major world network of listings. Okay, let's move on. So we're on the front page. There we go. Keep going, top of search engines, etc. Now we're going to get into how to work exclusive information. This is part of the important thing, and I'm telling you, worth your while coming today when you learn how to do this. And let's talk about this briefly. This becomes your inventory on the internet. If you can put something on the internet that can trigger leads, you have a chance to make money using the power of the internet. Now, the problem in the past, there's never been any control over that listing. If you don't have a signed listing, there's no control, but there is a way, and we're going to show you how to follow the RICO guidelines here in a moment. Essentially, you're going to be putting an agreement in place first, a listing agreement in place first before you show the property. It's very costly to advertise in a newspaper. It's very short duration. However, if you can do it, marketing is a lot like fishing. And if you can put a line in the water here and a line in the water there and a line, you have a better chance of triggering a lead to do a deal. So marketing is a lot like fishing. You've got to get your lines in the water. So really what ICIWorld is, it's like a global real estate broker's internet classified ad type listing service. It's not, you can't write an offer like MLS. It's not like MLS at all, actually, other than being able to search and sort. But that's about it. The information is quite a bit different. And I'm not going to go into the testimonials. Anybody recognize this gentleman? Okay. It was back in about 1994 when he was talking to Warren Buffett, talking about the internet. And then it was shortly after that that there was a book that he had called Business at the Speed of Thought. If you can take a thought out of your brain and put that thought on the internet where the whole world can see it, somebody over here might see it and they can give you a call. That thought. When you have a listing that you're going to go get next week, how many people here have a listing that they're going to be getting within the next 1, 2, 3 months? Okay? That is a thought in your head, isn't it? It's just a thought. You haven't got a signed listing yet. That's a thought. And as a real estate broker, I'm thinking, this is an information world. Can't we take that piece of information that you're getting a listing and let's put that thought on the internet? But how can you do it? And we're going to show you now today how to do it. It's very exciting. And I get excited when I see opportunities like this in a room. I call it sometimes diamonds on the floor of a broker's office. All these opportunities that you have. You sell one property and it makes you $15,000. You can buy a nice little diamond. You know, let's move on here. And this is what Bill had to say to Warren. This is back in the early 90s. The cost to publish your information, the cost to publish your thought, and getting your message in front of someone and talking to people around the world is zero, or so low, so close to zero, it doesn't make any difference. Interesting what he said. I mean, there's our program there with discounts. You take our cost, and then with the discounts, it's free. ICIWorld is this world information listing service, but you must manage the information in the right way. One of the ways we also teach this stuff, there are 4 webinars that are running daily, every single day. You go click on events at ICIWorld, and you can click on them, and they're running every single day. What can you be working? You can be working FSBOs. Does anybody know of a FSBO right now that's available out there? Anybody at all? Can you give me one example? Yeah, like just not the name of the people or an address, but the kind of property and what price?
It's around $2 million. They can do it better themselves. So they're not all that motivated.
It's a home in Oakville. There you go. That is a piece of information. Now, they want $2 million for themselves or 1.9? They want a net 2. So if you're going to sell, you want to get 2.1. Could you put a listing on ICIWorld, $2.1 million home in Oakville? That's it. Could you do that? The answer is yes. I'm going to be showing you here how to do it. So that piece of information that you cannot put on a real estate board, you can put it on an information listing service. By the way, was there? I'm sorry?
But in order to do that, I actually have to put the address
No.
on MLS.
That's a good question. I'm glad you're
asking these questions. This is a workshop, people. She's helping us all, okay? By asking these questions. Don't be shy. This is a workshop for salespeople.
The members can see.
Everybody, there's no addresses on ICIWorld. For all intents and purposes, we are recommending that you do not put addresses, and I'm going to make a statement that's going to be interesting, even for MLS listings. Everybody's going to say, why? What's he talking about? Don't put the address. Does an MLS listing have an expiry date? Yes. If people know that it's an MLS listing and they know the address, they watch to see that you sell, and then on the end of the month, you no longer have it. What do people do, even though they're not supposed to? So they don't. Why? Because they know the address. I'm suggesting, I'm only suggesting. I'm an assistant to every one of you. Even though I've been a broker for over 40 years, I've made my job to just be an assistant to you. I'm just an assistant. I'm going to make suggestions. And I'm suggesting, because I'm dealing with 1,000 brokers, that I've got some experience with dealing with this industry. Wouldn't it be better if you could trigger the lead during the time, if I'm talking about an MLS listing, isn't it better to trigger a lead and identify the person who's interested and then maybe give them the address? At least you know who you're working with. Okay. Everybody, you understand the difference? You probably understand? Trigger the lead during the term of the listing and then identify the people during the term of the listing. If you can't identify the people, you know what happens? The end of the listing comes up. You've done a great job. You've held open houses, you got brochures, you talked to the neighbors, you did it all. And then they don't want to relist with you after you've done all that work? Why? Could it be that somebody talked to them and says, listen, after the listing is over, I'd like to come and talk to you, but I don't want to deal with another agent. Is that possible? Always. So then afterwards, you go to him, he says, and then you say, he says I sold it. You sold it? Oh, how did you sell it? He says, well, I sold it myself. Didn't sell it himself. You probably were the one that got the buyer. But he went to talk to the owner. That's happening out there nowadays, isn't it? So I'm suggesting some of the stuff I'm going to teach you today is your information is valuable. It's valuable just like confidential information for a lawyer, confidential information for a doctor. This is our confidential information when we have something for sale. And we have to have an agreement in place before we show it or divulge information on it. So these are some of the opportunities that you can have coming for sale, want to sell quietly. There it is, people. I would get your cameras out, and we're going to talk about this for the next 8 minutes. I'm going to make sure, and then we're going to give you a test after we're through. Those are the 3 questions. So what I'm suggesting that you do with that for sale by owner one is ask that first question. By the way, if you take a picture of that screen, will it show up?
It's right here.
Yeah, I would take a picture of that with your cameras. This has helped some people make over $1 million on ICIWorld. This is how commercial brokers have been working for many years. And today, it's working as smooth as a baby's bum for residential real estate, big time. 50% of the information on ICIWorld in residential is now exclusive opportunities. And exclusive opportunities can trigger a lead, just like the real estate board is. So, the first question you would ask that owner, that for sale by owner, would be, will you pay me a commission if I bring a buyer? Does anybody have a problem with that question? No? Now, remember I said before that we have some people that have not made money with ICIWorld? Remember I mentioned that? There was one broker called me. Now let me cover the second question, then I'm going to give you the story. The second question is, will you give me a 48-hour exclusive listing to show the property once I have a buyer? It doesn't matter if it's 48 hours, 24 hours. I was talking to a broker at Sudbury because I drive all over the province doing these seminars. He said, Gary, I had a 2-hour listing on a Saturday from 12 to 2. The owner wouldn't give me any other time. He showed it and he sold it. A 2-hour listing. You can do it. I'm opening up your mind. This is box busting. It's almost as exciting, as far as I'm concerned, as the invention of MLS itself, because we're doing it with information. Now, I went to, one broker called me and says, Gary, I haven't made any money. I says, I couldn't understand why not. And I says, well, what are the 3 questions? And he said, well, the first question is, will you give me a 48-hour exclusive listing? That's what he was asking the owner of the property. Is that the first question? How many people say yes? How many people say no?
No,
Why not?
you're not guaranteed to get paid.
Yeah, what else?
What's in it for me? You gotta leave with that.
Yeah, but when he asked the owner, will you give me a 48-hour exclusive listing? And what do all FSBOs say? They don't want to give you a listing. I want to try to sell it myself privately. What's wrong with the question? He called me up. This is after 3 months. He didn't make any money. And I asked him, what are the 3 questions? The first thing he says, well, I asked him, would they give me a 48-hour exclusive listing? Is that the full question? Once I have a buyer, what a big difference, right? What a big difference. That's what's happening. Listen, people, we've gone through a lot of growing pains in this thing. Gone through the school of hard knocks. This is belly-to-belly stuff out in the marketplace we're talking, right? Exactly, real stories. These really happened. I went 1 year, couldn't figure out why some brokers, this was back in the late 90s. And so you know what I do now? I put it in red printing for you. Red printing. I was never a teacher in school, but I'm teaching now. I'm taking what I'm learning and sharing it with you, and I'm learning from others in the industry like yourself. I put it in red. If you leave out one part of that, it's not going to work for you. Then the third question, may I advertise your property, but I'm going to do it without disclosing the address. Got that? And the reason why you want to do that, here it is. According to RICO, by the way, was anybody at the meeting the other day? You and me. I was at the RICO meeting. It was up at the Congress Center. 77,000 real estate people in Ontario. Guess how many people were at the meeting? Anybody want to take a guess? Take a guess.
97.
How many? You guess 100, he wins the prize. There's a 90 to 100 people there out of 77,000. And guess what? That was a quorum to vote on legislation that rules you. Just so you know. But they act in our best interest, of course.
Sometimes.
A registrant shall not include anything in an advertisement that could reasonably be used to identify. That's the key word. I had to put that in red. That took a lot of time to learn. Specific real estate unless the owner of the real estate has consented in writing. You got that? Because I'm giving you all the tests here in a moment. Okay, you ready? All right. She's got, anybody else have a for sale by owner? What they're talking to? Anybody? Just the one? The reason you don't work for sale by owners is because they're pretty negative. They turn you off. You're tough to work. Do you think you would have a problem with those 3 questions? Anybody that's using that? If I bring you a buyer, would you pay me a commission? That's a lot different from asking them for a listing on the spot and then trying to give them 12 reasons why you should list it.
One question, one. Thank you.
What's that?
If you ask the question, he says no, thank you, and leave.
Yeah, but they all have a problem. They're for sale by owners. They want to sell and get out and move someplace, but they want to try to do it themselves and they want to net their figure. If I got you 2.1 for your property, would you pay me $100,000 as long as you got your $2 million? Sure, why not? They all pretty well say yes, the people that are doing this. So, what's the second question?
Exclusive access for 48 hours if I bring a buyer.
Oh, good man, good man. If I bring a buyer. That's the big key, okay? That's what I'm learning today. You do that, And you're gonna go back and say, that guy that was up there on Oakville real estate board, that Gary Boy, boy, oh boy, this is working great. Correct?
You might not be the buyer.
That's right. And when you're ready to bring the buyer, you get an agreement ahead of time that you will sign a 48-hour exclusive listing or something to cover your showing. Now, let's say that you can't get it from him. Who can you get it from, the agreement? I love it. Everybody's learning ready from the buyer. And if you have trouble learning about this stuff, talk to your brokers. Wherever your broker of record is, you talk to your broker about the agreements, about the exclusive agreements, buyer brokers agreements, you talk to your brokers about this stuff.
Question.
Question?
What if the fees go once higher than market value?
That's normal.
Yes.
That's normal, right?
So you cannot,
They always
no, you
do.
cannot, you
But,
cannot.
okay, I'm gonna answer this from a broker's point of view, how I work. I don't even care. I let them try. You know why? How many times you've been surprised? They get put in. You'd be surprised.
They're not.
You know, I sort of go on the basis of urgency. How fast do you have to move? If you are transferred and you have to move to Vancouver in 2 weeks, you better price it at market value to get going. You don't have time. But if you've got time, 6 months, you can put it up a little extra high. If it doesn't sell, you can always come down. Right? Come down every 30 days, 20,000, 50,000%. Just come down until you price it into the market. No problem. What's the problem with that? It's easy. And that way you get the listing every time. Might be a little high, but you are at the mercy of the market. So are they at the mercy of the market. We are all at the mercy of the market. If you came in and tried to tell me what my home is worth, and I won't take a listing unless it's more than that, I actually don't want to list it. I want to try to get the higher price. And I did it. I had 2 presidents of 2 real estate boards that didn't want to take the listing. I got $50,000 more than both of them. I shouldn't come out and say it, but it was a little thing that bothered me at the time. They didn't want to take the listing. It was almost like an insult. But I was from Toronto area. I knew what was coming towards Hamilton. They didn't. They didn't see it coming. And all the prices in all of Hamilton went up 30, 40%. They didn't know it, but I was one of the first ones who got the higher price, and I was selling my mother's house. So I was fighting.
Gary,
Oh.
we have a question.
What's that? Oh, yes, go ahead.
The second question, for the exclusive, if I have a buyer, that's to secure information, if you bring in a buyer,
Yeah.
this is.
Okay, that's a good, you're bringing up the question is, will you give me a 48-hour exclusive listing to show the property once I have a buyer? ICIWorld has over 40,000 pieces of information. It doesn't mean that we don't put an agreement in place first before showing the property or before divulging the address of the property or showing the property. You've got to have a listing agreement in place first. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't show a property without having an agreement in place. So that you want to get that agreed to ahead of time verbally so that you don't have any problems when you call them. Okay? And if that's still a problem, you're going to have to get your agreement from your buyer. We don't have enough time to discuss that now, but it can be done, and we can discuss that later. Let's move on. So let's do a test. Somebody calls you on the phone, what's the first thing they're going to ask you? Are you going to give it to them? No. You can make a statement. If you want, you can take a picture of that too. In this particular case, we have to put an agreement in place first. But if it's okay with you, you come to my office. On Saturday, I'll make arrangements for you to see. And then what do you do on the Friday? You go get yourself a 48-hour exclusive listing. You know, has anybody been to Lake Tahoe here ever? Lake Tahoe is a beautiful part of the country. Up in the hills, you can go skiing in one day, and you can go swimming down in the water in the lake the same day. A lot of the movie star properties in the mountains are all being sold this way. They don't put them on MLS. A lot of people don't want the interior of their home plastered all over the internet. They don't want their precious belongings on expensive things that they have out there for all the crooks of the world to case their place. But they don't mind giving it to you. If you have a legitimate buyer, they would love them to see everything. But not just to put it all over the internet willy-nilly. So a lot of people want things done quietly. Mayors of cities, prominent people, don't want people to know that their homes are for sale. How can you do it quietly? They'll say, I'll give you the listing, Ed, but I don't want any advertising. Your hands are tied. What do? Not anymore. You've got a place. We have a $35 million residential properties on here. $35 million. So you can do things very exquisitely, very tastefully, properly controlled, confidential. We even have a confidential setting on here. Let's move on. Coming for sale. Somebody calls you. In this particular case, we have to put an agreement in place first. If it's okay with you, I'll put you on a list. And once I get the agreement signed, I will call you back. Next. Does that give it away, that first ad? The answer no is correct. If I said, by the way, I'm going to ask you all a question now, and there's 3 answers. One is, I don't know. The other answer is yes. The other answer is no. Here's the question. If I said the restaurant is at the corner of Dundas and Hurontario Street, does it give it away? How many say yes? How many say no? How many don't know? I guess the ones that didn't raise their hand don't know. The answer yes is correct. Why? What if there's 3 restaurants down there? You can go to all 3 restaurants. You're right. How long does it take to go to 3 restaurants? 20 minutes, half an hour. If the commission is 10%, which it is for businesses, that's $35,000. $35,000 in your pocket. If you give too much information away, it's like you're giving $35,000 opportunity away. So you have to become a detective in your own right. When you're going to advertise on ICIWorld, if you want, you have to protect your information, just like it's money in the bank. This is $35,000 to put your kids through school, maybe just for 1 year the way it is nowadays. Buy a car, go on vacations, do things. But if you give away your information, I had one broker, I says, you haven't made any money on our service. Do you mind me asking you a few questions? I says, do you give addresses of people on our, he says, oh yeah, I send them all the information. And he's crossing his fingers and hoping that they're going to call him back. Not going to happen. You got to protect your information, just like doctors protect information, lawyers protect information. I'm suggesting to you that is the confidential information in our business. You've got to protect your information. Toronto Triplex, 750. Does that give it away? Nope. If I said it's at the corner of Ossington and Bloor, next to the Pizza, gives it away. Got to be careful. Now we're going to take it. I'm leading you someplace for another question. Here we go. Does it give it away if I said there's an Esso gas station in Lindsay?
Yeah.
How many people say yes? Yes. How many people say no? How many people don't know? The answer yes is correct. And the reason? Why?
Oh, there's only one.
There's only one. You got it. You're very sharp in this. Believe me, I get groups in here that don't know the answers to these. And I'm sure some people in here may not know. That's why we're here to teach this stuff. So how would you advertise that? Well, you could simply say branded gas station 1 hour to Toronto. Okay?
Yep.
How about the next one? Brantford Shopping Center, 30 million.
I don't think there's many.
Does it give it away? Yes?
Yes.
No? I don't know. The answer yes is correct. The reason why?
There's
There's only one. There's only one. So you got to be careful. That's why some people didn't make money here. And that's what I'm here to make sure you learn it, because next time around you start making money. That's what I like. I love the testimonials. And if you remember this conversation here today, if you ever do come on board and you do your first deal, remind me of this situation right here, right now. I love it. I love hearing all the stories because I'm getting them all. Okay, it's a wonderful story. How about Peter? Oh, by the way, how would you advertise that? You just might say $30 million shopping center, Ontario, or maybe just Canada.
Southwestern.
Just to throw them off. Peterborough,
Does that give it away?
Yes.
There's so many.
Probably not, because there's a lot of them, right?
There's 500 products.
I agree. Okay, let's go to these other widgets. I'm going to show you briefly. I've already shown you, and we're going to start wrapping things up here. The widgets on website, what do they look like? What you do is you end up ordering them from ICIWorld when you join, and we send you the instructions by email. And let's go to, you see Oakville there somewhere? Where's Oakville? There it is. Okay, Oakville. Right click, open 3. Let me just go to this one right here. Okay, so there's a sample. Let me just click on her website. There's a sample website. I'm not talking about the design of websites, people. I'm talking about these widgets here, this residential one and this commercial one. This residential one, mostly exclusives, it comes up here. There's all the cities in Ontario. So if somebody comes to your website and they see something in Mississauga, they can click on it. And right away, what comes up is 124 listings from $5 million on down. There they are. Coming for sale, Mississauga, $1 million. These listings can trigger leads for you. Okay? Next, let's click on commercial. And Ontario commercial is one of the buttons, and these are all the choices. People might come up here and they might click on, well, let's click on Oakville just for fun here and see what comes up. People click on Oakville, bingody boom, and maybe somebody is interested. There's an Ontario, there's a condo townhouse for $489,000. Right there, 2 full washrooms, $489,900. Somebody could end up calling you on that. If you have these listings on your website, you have a chance to trigger a lead. If you don't have the listings, you have 0 chance. Very easy to install. One email instruction to you, you forward them to your website designer, they install them, and then we like to follow up with you to make sure that they got installed properly. What are some of the other links that you have in here? Well, there's lists of buyers too. If you're trying to get a listing on a little apartment building, you can click on the apartment buildings and look at all the wants come up here. There's 279 buyers. Look at that. What this is good for, if you go on a listing presentation, you can print out a list of buyers. We've actually had independent brokers like yourselves get listings of power of sales from a bank based on this list that you're connected in with all the other brokers. This is giving you the power to network with other independent brokers, something that only the big brokers have done in the past. What else can you have on your website? Well, watch this. This is going to be interesting. We have the FSBOs here. Power of sales. Where's the Fizz? There's FSBOs. Let's see if this comes up. There they are. FSBO listings in the GTA. So people cannot click on these. They have to call you for more information. You can end up doing a referral, or you can try to go sell the property yourself. Those are all the choices. Okay, so that's the widgets from ICIWorld. Any questions on the widgets? All right, pretty straightforward there. Let's go move on. The widgets, there they are. We support all websites in the world, no matter what kind of website you have. You can have more than one website because they're like billboards. How do you promote your website? By the way, it's on every single day at 8 o'clock. Just click on events on ICIWorld. Every broker in the world should actually see that once. That's our pledge. We actually publish it online. If you're not doing business every 90 days or generating leads, you get back to us. Now, these particular seminars that I do now, these are free seminars, and I'd like you to go to your the stuff that's been handed out. One of them is an evaluation sheet. And I'm going to ask you, if you don't